Okay, let's dive into this. We're about to tackle one of the most absolutely mind-bending ideas in all of physics: quantum immortality. Seriously, it's a thought experiment that pulls us right to the very edge of what we think we know about reality itself.
So let's just get right to the heart of it, right? Could you, yes you, live forever? And I'm not talking about some biological miracle or sci-fi tech. I'm talking about the fundamental laws of quantum mechanics basically guaranteeing it. And believe it or not, this isn't just some plot from a movie. It's a very real, logical consequence of one of the most popular interpretations of quantum physics.
So to really get our heads around this whole thing, we've got to start with the theory that makes it all possible in the first place. And yeah, you guessed it, that means we need to take a quick trip into the multiverse. At the very core of this whole puzzle is something called the many worlds interpretation. Just imagine for a second that every time a quantum event happens, like an atom decaying or not decaying, the universe doesn't just pick one path. Nope. Instead, it splits. It literally grows a new branch, kind of like a tree, for every single possibility. So in one branch, the atom decayed. In another, it didn't. And the wild part? Both are equally real.
Okay, now let's apply that crazy logic to your own life. Let's say you face a situation with a 50-50 chance of survival. Well, the universe splits. Now sure, the version of you in that other branch, well, they're gone. But from your conscious perspective, you can only ever experience the timeline where you continue to exist. So according to this theory, there will always be a timeline where you make it through. Always.
Sounds like a pretty sweet deal, doesn't it? A cosmic guarantee of survival. But there's a huge, huge problem. A massive wrinkle in the plan that physicists have been wrestling with for decades. And it all comes down to a really successful rule about, well, probability. And that rule is called the Born rule. Think of it like the universe's official rulebook for rolling dice. It can't tell you exactly what the next roll will be, but it can tell you with frankly incredible accuracy that you're way more likely to roll a 7 than, say, snake eyes. For almost 100 years, this rule has been the absolute bedrock of quantum physics. It tells us some outcomes are super common and others are just fantastically rare. Our entire modern world of technology is built on this thing working perfectly.
And right here, this is the central mystery. If the many worlds theory is right, and every single possible outcome really truly happens, then why does our universe seem to so strictly follow the probabilities laid out by the Born rule? Why aren't we seeing bizarre, super low probability events happening all the time? Why is reality so, well, normal, so predictable? And this is where things get really interesting. The source material for this explainer comes in with a fascinating new idea. It suggests that maybe, just maybe, we've been thinking about the Born rule completely backwards. That it's not just about predicting chances, it's about figuring out which realities can even exist in a stable way to begin with.
This right here, this is the key idea. The source argues the Born rule isn't just some mathematical trick for calculating odds. It's something much deeper. It's a fundamental filter. It basically decides whether a specific branch of the multiverse is even stable enough for an observer, like you or me, to exist in the first place.
And this is kind of what that shift in thinking looks like. The old view just treated the Born rule as this weird, mysterious rule about probability. Nobody knew why it worked, it just did. But this new view, it reframes the whole thing. The rule holds true because our very existence actually depends on it. We're here thinking and talking about it, so the rule must be true for our world.
So let's bring it all back. How does this new idea solve that puzzle of quantum immortality? If the Born rule is really a survival filter, then what on earth happens to those immortal timelines, the ones where you survive against all possible odds?
Well, it means those worlds are, for all intents and purposes, fundamentally broken. Think of it like a glitched level in a video game. Yeah, you might have found a cheat code to survive, but the world around you just becomes this unstable, chaotic mess. The laws of physics just don't hold together anymore. In worlds like that, stable matter, memory, life itself, none of it can hang on.
So here's the chain reaction, the step-by-step breakdown of what happens. First, some incredibly improbable survival event happens, and it creates a new universe branch. But because this new branch completely violates the Born rule, its physics just spiral into chaos. This leads to a total loss of coherence. Stable matter, your memories, consciousness itself, they just can't form. And what's the end result? The observer, the you in that branch, it basically dissolves. You never get to experience this glitched out reality because there's no stable you left to do the experiencing.
So what's the big takeaway here? This radical new idea tells us something crucial, not about some distant, theoretical universe, but about our own reality, right here and right now. The simple fact that you are here, that you're able to think, to remember, to perceive a consistent, stable reality, that is the proof. We live in a universe that rigidly follows the born rule. And why? Because any universe that didn't would be way too unstable to produce an observer who could even ask the question in the first place. Our stable existence isn't some happy accident, it's a necessity.
So let's put it all together. What does this all mean for us? First, quantum immortality is probably a myth. Those survival-only branches you would need to jump to would just be too unstable to support a conscious mind. Second, the reason our reality seems so orderly and, well, boringly predictable is that any universes that aren't like this are essentially duds. They can't support observers to witness their own chaos. And finally, and this is the big one, this reframes the born rule from just a piece of math into a fundamental prerequisite for life itself.
Which leaves us with one last, really profound thought to chew on. Maybe it's not that we are lucky to live in a universe that works so well. Maybe it's that the universes that work are the only ones that can have anyone inside them to begin with. Is our entire vast, orderly cosmos just the last branch standing? The only one that didn't glitch out? It's something to think about for sure.